Welcome back to Mysteries of Mythology. Today we'll be discussing the origins of constellations, the star patterns that make up our sky. These ancient stories not only shaped our understanding of the cosmos, but also weave together tales of gods, heroes, and mythical beasts. We won't be going over them all, but we'll get through a lot. First up will be Orion, also known as the Hunter. Let's dive into the legends behind these celestial landmarks. Orion, the Hunter, in Greek mythology was a giant huntsman of great beauty and strength. There are several versions of his myth, but one popular story involves his love for the Pleiades, the seven sisters. Orion pursued them, and to protect them, Zeus placed them in the sky as the Pleiades star cluster, also known as the Seven Sisters, with Orion following them eternally. Another tale tells of Orion's death, either by a scorpion sent by Gaia or Apollo due to jealousy over Orion's hunting prowess, or his interest in Eos, the dawn goddess. Orion and Scorpius are placed on opposite sides of the sky, so they are never seen at the same time. Ursa Major, the Great Bear, Big Dipper. Also from Greek mythology, this constellation is often associated with Callisto. Callisto was a nymph who was loved by Zeus. When Hera, Zeus's wife, discovered the affair, she transformed Callisto into a bear. Later, Zeus placed both Callisto and her son Arcus in the sky as Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, the little bear, to protect them. Another version says Arcus, not recognizing his mother after she was turned into a bear, nearly killed her, but Zeus intervened, turning Arcus into a bear and placing them in the sky. Cassiopeia was a queen in Greek mythology, known for her vanity. She boasted that she was more beautiful than the Nereids, the sea nymphs. This angered Poseidon, who sent a sea monster to ravage her kingdom. To appease Poseidon, Cassiopeia's daughter, Andromeda, was to be sacrificed. However, Perseus saved Andromeda, and all were placed in the sky by the gods. Cassiopeia is depicted upside down as a punishment for her vanity, spending half her time hanging by her hair. Cygnus, the Swan. This constellation is linked to several myths, but one prominent story is about Cygnus, a friend of Phaethon. Phaethon, son of the sun god Helios, lost control of his father's chariot, scorching the earth. Zeus struck him down with a thunderbolt to prevent further disaster. Cygnus, mourning his friend, was transformed into a swan and placed among the stars as Cygnus, where he can still be seen flying near the Milky Way, symbolizing his eternal search for Phaethon. Scorpius, the Scorpion. Directly tied to the story of Orion, Scorpius represents the scorpion that killed him. In one version, Gaia, the earth goddess, sent the scorpion to kill Orion because he had boasted he could kill all the creatures on Earth. After Orion's death, both were placed in the sky, but on opposite sides so they never meet, symbolizing their eternal chase. Scorpius also guards the entrance to the underworld, according to some myths, making it a significant symbol in both astronomy and mythology. Pegasus, the winged horse. Pegasus sprang from the neck of the Gorgon Medusa when Perseus beheaded her. He was then caught by Bellerophon with the help of Athena, who gave him a golden bridle. Together, they defeated the Chimera. However, Bellerophon's hubris led him to attempt to fly to Mount Olympus, but Zeus sent a gadfly to sting Pegasus, causing Bellerophon to fall. Pegasus continued alone to Olympus, where Zeus used him to carry his thunderbolts. Pegasus is now immortalized in the sky, symbolizing the power of flight and the consequences of hubris. Lyra, the Lyre. Lyra represents the lyre of Orpheus, the legendary musician whose music could charm animals, trees, and even rocks. After Orpheus's death, his lyre was placed among the stars by Zeus or Apollo, depending on the version of the myth. The lyre was originally given to Orpheus by Apollo or Hermes. The constellation includes Vega, one of the brightest stars in the night sky, echoing the celestial beauty of Orpheus's music. Hercules, the hero. This constellation honors the Greek hero Hercules, Hercules in Roman mythology, known for his incredible strength and numerous far-ranging adventures. One of the most famous tales is his 12 labors, tasks set by King Eurystheus to atone for killing his family in a fit of madness induced by Hera. Each star in Hercules might be seen as a point in his epic journey across the heavens, forever remembered for his labors and heroics. Gemini, the twins. Gemini represents the twins Castor and Pollux, or Polydeuces, known as the Dioscuri. They were the sons of Leda. Pollux was immortal, the son of Zeus, while Castor was mortal, the son of Tyndareus. When Castor died, Pollux, out of brotherly love, asked Zeus to share his immortality with his twin. Zeus placed them in the sky as Gemini, where they remain side by side, symbolizing brotherly love and the bond between mortal and divine. Andromeda, the princess. Andromeda was the daughter of King Cepheus and Queen Cassiopeia of Ethiopia. Her mother's boast about her beauty led to Andromeda being chained to a rock as a sacrifice to a sea monster sent by Poseidon. Perseus, returning from slaying Medusa, saved her by turning the monster to stone with Medusa's head. He married Andromeda, and they both were later placed in the sky by Athena. Andromeda's constellation lies near the Great Square of Pegasus, symbolizing her rescue and her place among the stars. Taurus, the bull. Taurus is most famously linked to the myth of Zeus transforming into a bull to abduct Europa, a Phoenician princess. Zeus, in his bull form, carried Europa across the sea to Crete, where he revealed his true identity, and they had 3 sons, including Minos, who later became the king of Crete. The constellation Taurus is said to commemorate this event, with the Pleiades cluster often considered to be Europa's companions. Sagittarius, the archer, often identified with the centaur Chiron, known for his wisdom, healing abilities, and teaching. Chiron was accidentally wounded by a poisoned arrow shot by Hercules during a battle. Being immortal, he could not die but suffered great pain. He willingly gave up his immortality to end his suffering, allowing Prometheus to be freed from his torment. Zeus then placed Chiron in the sky as Sagittarius, symbolizing his noble sacrifice. Aquarius, the water-bearer. Aquarius is usually associated with Ganymede, a beautiful Trojan prince whom Zeus abducted to serve as cupbearer to the gods on Mount Olympus. Zeus either transformed into an eagle or sent one to carry Ganymede to the heavens. As the water-bearer, Ganymede pours out the water of life from his pitcher, symbolizing the source of the Nile or the cosmic waters that bring life to Earth. Perseus, the hero. Perseus is celebrated for his heroic deeds, particularly for slaying the Gorgon Medusa and rescuing Andromeda. Armed with gifts from the gods, including Hermes' winged sandals, Athena's shield, and Hades' helm of invisibility, Perseus managed to cut off Medusa's head, which turned anyone who looked at her into stone. His constellation in the sky honors his bravery and cunning, with the head of Medusa sometimes depicted as the star Algol, known as the demon star. Leo, the lion. Leo represents the Nemean lion, the first of Hercules' 12 labors. This lion was invulnerable to mortal weapons, with skin impenetrable by arrows or swords. Hercules managed to defeat it by wrestling it to death and then using its own sharp claws to skin it, wearing the pelt thereafter as a trophy and a symbol of his strength. Zeus placed the lion in the sky as Leo, honoring both the beast's ferocity and Hercules' triumph. Aries, the ram. Aries is linked to the golden fleece in Greek mythology. The ram with the golden fleece was sent by Hermes to rescue Phrixus and Helle, children of King Athamas. They were escaping their stepmother Ino's plot to have them sacrificed. During their flight, Helle fell into the sea, giving name to the Hellespont, but Phrixus made it to Colchis. There he sacrificed the ram to Zeus and hung its fleece in a grove, where it was later sought by Jason and the Argonauts. The constellation Aries commemorates this golden ram. Cancer, the crab. Cancer represents the crab sent by Hera to distract Heracles during his battle with the Hydra, one of his 12 labors. The crab nipped at Heracles' feet, but he crushed it underfoot. Hera, in honor of the crab's loyalty, placed it among the stars. This myth highlights the theme of Hera's vendetta against Heracles, born from her jealousy over Zeus's affairs. Virgo, the virgin. Virgo is often associated with Astraea, the goddess of innocence and purity, also known as the daughter of Zeus and Themis. She was the last of the immortals to leave Earth during the Iron Age, when humanity became too corrupt, ascending to the heavens to become the constellation Virgo. She holds the scales of justice, represented by Libra, symbolizing her association with justice and the balance of the cosmos. Draco, the dragon. Draco is identified with several dragons in mythology, but one notable association is with Ladon, the dragon guarding the golden apples in the Garden of the Hesperides. Heracles, as part of his labors, had to steal these apples. With the help of Atlas, he succeeded, but Ladon was killed. Hera placed Ladon among the stars as Draco winding around the North Celestial Pole, symbolizing his eternal vigilance over the precious garden. Capricornus, the sea goat. Capricornus has various myths, but one prominent one involves Pan, the god of the wild, shepherds, and flocks. During the battle with the monster Typhon, Pan dove into the Nile to escape, but in his haste, his upper half remained a goat, while his lower half transformed into a fish's tail. This hybrid form was then placed in the sky by Zeus as Capricornus, symbolizing transformation, survival, and the connection between earth and water. Pisces, the fishes. Pisces is often linked to the myth of Aphrodite, Venus, and her son Eros, Cupid, fleeing from the monster Typhon. They transformed themselves into fish to escape, tying themselves together with a cord so as not to lose each other in the Euphrates River. In gratitude for their escape, Zeus placed them in the sky as the constellation Pisces, representing their unity and the protective nature of love. Scorpius, the scorpion. Previously mentioned with Orion, Scorpio has its own unique story. Artemis, Diana, sent the scorpion to kill Orion for boasting he could kill all creatures on Earth. After Scorpio succeeded, both were placed in the sky by Gaia or Artemis herself, with the stipulation that they appear in the sky at different times to continue their eternal chase. This constellation also guards the entrance to the underworld in some myths. Libra, the scales. Libra is one of the few constellations not directly associated with a figure in Greek mythology. Instead, it's often linked with the concept of justice. However, one myth involves Astraea, the goddess of justice, who left Earth for the heavens when humanity became too corrupt, taking her scales with her. Thus, Libra represents the balance and fairness she stood for, and it's said to be the only inanimate object among the zodiac constellations. Ophiuchus, the Serpent-bearer. Ophiuchus is associated with Asclepius, the Greek god of medicine, son of Apollo. Asclepius learned the art of healing from Chiron and became so skilled that he could even bring the dead back to life. This power alarmed Hades, who complained to Zeus, leading Zeus to kill Asclepius with a thunderbolt. However, Zeus placed him in the sky between the constellations of Scorpio and Sagittarius, holding the serpent, Serpens, which represents the knowledge of healing. Cepheus, the king. Cepheus was the king of Ethiopia, or Joppa in some versions, and husband to Cassiopeia, father to Andromeda. His family's saga involves Cassiopeia's boast about Andromeda's beauty, leading to Poseidon's wrath and Andromeda's near sacrifice to a sea monster. After Perseus rescued Andromeda, the whole family was immortalized in the sky. Cepheus is often depicted as a kingly figure, representing his role in this dramatic tale of hubris and redemption. Serpens. In Greek mythology, Serpens represents a giant snake held by the healer Asclepius, depicted by the constellation Ophiuchus. Asclepius learned the secrets of healing from observing a snake, which he killed only to see another snake revive it with a herb. This event symbolizes the knowledge of medicine, with Asclepius holding Serpens caput, the head, in one hand, and Serpens cauda, the tail, in the other. Obsolete constellation Cerberus. Cerberus was an obsolete constellation introduced by Johannes Hevelius in the 17th century, depicting the three-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld in Greek mythology. The stars that made up Cerberus are now part of the constellation Hercules. This constellation was meant to represent Cerberus, the dog Hercules had to capture as one of his 12 labors. Obsolete constellation Apes. Apes, or the bee, was another constellation created by Hevelius, representing the bees that swarmed around the head of the giant Orion in some myths. It has since been absorbed into other constellations, notably Scorpius. There isn't a prominent mythological narrative directly tied to apes, but it reflects the creative ways astronomers once filled the sky with figures from nature and mythology. Columba, the dove. Columba is linked to the story of Noah's Ark in Christian mythology, where a dove was sent out by Noah to find land after the Great Flood. The dove returned with an olive branch, signaling the end of the deluge and the coming of peace and renewal. This constellation symbolizes hope and the promise of new beginnings. Corvus, the crow. Corvus is connected to the myth of Apollo and his sacred bird, the crow. Originally white, the crow was tasked by Apollo to fetch water, but tarried, waiting for figs to ripen. When it returned, it blamed a water snake, Hydra, for the delay. Angered by the crow's deceit, Apollo turned its feathers black and placed it in the sky along with Crater, the cup, and Hydra, forever symbolizing its tale of procrastination and punishment. Phoenix, the phoenix. Phoenix is not prominently featured in Greek mythology, but is significant in Egyptian and later in Christian symbolism, representing resurrection and eternal life. The phoenix is a mythical bird that, at the end of its life, burns itself on a pyre and is reborn from its ashes. This constellation embodies themes of renewal, immortality, and the cyclical nature of life. And that's enough for today's video. I may go over the others in a future video, so be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. This has been Mysteries of Mythology.